HELIOS, New Light on Science.
Welcome back to our third episode of Helios New Light on Science. In our previous episodes, we discussed the strategy vision and the journey of an early stage researcher. But today, we are finally stepping into the inner sanctum. We are going to talk about the physics, chemistry, and engineering that makes the Helios project revolutionary. We are the very heart of the action. The Department of Electrical Engineering of Lviv Polytechnic. Joining us today in the person leading this scientific hub, the head of the department, Khrystyna Ivaniuk. Khrystyna, a warm welcome to you.
Hello, Nazari. I am glad to be here.
Okay, so my first question would be about your path to this project. The Department of Electrical Engineering has become the primary site for implementing Helios. Could you tell us how you got here?
Oh, it's a long story, but I will be short. I was a student of the Department of Electronic Device. After the graduation, I continued my studies of PhD student and, of course, continue my scientific activities. And now, for 12 years, I have been working in the field of organic electronics.
And winning a Horizon Europe grant is often called the scientific Oscar. In your opinion, why was your application selected and your project funded?
In my opinion, there are the three main factors which have the impact of this result. The first one is research questions were ambitious but realistic, because reviewers always know exactly it's real tasks for this period in the project or no. Another one is methodology need to be clear and well validated. And of course, it's a team, because the project could not be successful without professional in their branch of science. And for me, it's the main three reasons the successful project, not only Horizon to Europe, and could be another one.
I agree with you that team is often the primary factor for the evaluators. And now let's discuss the science, the heart of the project. So the project focuses on organic lighting. Could you explain to our listeners in a simple terms, how do organic LEDs differ from the ones currently in our light bulbs or smartphones?
Yes, typically you know that at home you use LED lighting, and you could imagine that your lighting is flexible, could be a different design, and you can imagine that your windows is a window in the day and it's lighting at your smart house at the night. The main difference is the uniform surface emission. It's a true black and higher contrast if you talk about the displays, not lighting systems. And of course, it's the design, it's the ultra thin structure, and it's a flexible design, and it could be more comfortable, more natural light for the people, for the mental health of the people.
Okay, and a key phrase we often hear regarding Helios is the white-emitting monomolecular OLED. Why is monomolecularity such a breakthrough? Why is it important for light to be emitted by a single type of molecule rather than a mixture of different emitters?
Yeah, it's a popular question now, because typically use different emitters to building multi-layer structure and multi-emission for the structure, but when you use monomolecular one compounds for application in this heterostructure, you have possibility to increase the pure and predictable colors of this heterostructure, this OLED, you could have the higher efficiency of this device, longer lifetime and stability, because the single molecule emitters degrade uniformly and the color shifted lower than you use three typically RGB emitters. And of course it's much easier technology to preparing this device with the necessary color coordinate and color temperature, because it's very important for the white emitting diodes.
And we know you work with complex layer architectures. You've used the term heterolayers. What role do these layers play in ensuring the LED works efficiently without losing its brightness over time?
Typically, the heterostructure has electrodes, and of course, if the emitting diodes have the emissive layer. But to increase the efficiency of this diode, you need to use different functional layers. It could be transport layers, injection layers, blocking layers. If to talk short, the heterolayers are like the traffic controllers and protective shields for this device. They guide changes to the right direction, to the right place, prevent energy loss or protect the emitter, keeping the light bright, and as a result you have more efficient and long-lasting device.
Okay, thanks. And so far as we know, you receive materials from partners in Lithuania and Scotland. What is the magic process of turning a powder or solution, what arrives in a package, into a functional device in your lab? Maybe you can share to our listeners the behind the scenes of this complex process.
It's funny because magic process is this sentence. Because one my teacher said that for human who doesn't know chemistry and physics, a lot of magic in the life. And back to your questions, yes, we work with the partners from Lithuania, Scotland, and in Ukraine we have the few tasks. We prepare the devices. When you need to prepare the device, first stage is the substrate preparation. After that you need to deposit the different type of layers. You could use different technology. In our lab we use the thermovacuum deposition and spin coating deposition. After preparing the device, of course you need to encapsulate this device, because this device is extremely sensitive to the air and moisture. And after this encapsulation we try to testing and measuring the main properties of the devices. And after that, calculation and preparing, of course, the manuscript to publish the result.
Okay, thank you. And another important aspect, so far as we know, of this project is the secondment system, where researchers move between laboratories in places like Glasgow, Kaunas, and Riga. From your perspective as the head of the department, how has this content exchange of personnel and know-how elevated the scientific standards and the culture of innovation within your own labs?
You know, this exchanging experience, it's always a great idea to improve your qualification, science qualification, and for me, like to say, it's a great opportunity to improve your soft skills. For young researchers, I think it's very important, because it stimulates them to socialization in science group. And after such secondments, postgraduate students are more confident, more open to new people, more open to new knowledges, to new secondments, to preparing some idea to new project. For experienced research, it's a great opportunity as well, but to establish contact with the foreign partners, share experience more not only in science, but more in the managing departments, managing project, working with the different type of staff, different people for the foreign and different countries with different culture, different religions, and organizing this work in general, not only in the project but in the department, in the science group. That's why I agree with everyone who says that it's a good idea to have a secondments by project.
And by the way, how do you generally work with international partners? Are there any difficulties?
I can say for sure, since the main partners of our project are the scientific group, we have been in collaboration with them a few times, or the had collaboration in another type of project. But even with the new partners, we have never encountered any difficulties. What I can say, if a team is focused on the results, they will always find a way to work together.
And having such experience in working with different international partners, do you feel that European science has gone far ahead and Ukraine has to catch up? Or on contrary, do colleagues from abroad have something to learn from Ukraine and in particular from Lviv Polytechnic?
On one hand, the material and technical resources and some equipments of European laboratories are more advanced than those in Ukraine, which has, of course, a significant impact on the development of science here. On the other hand, the European science can learn a lot from Ukrainian research. Now, at this time, about resilience. Because despite the war, blackouts, the missile attacks, our university, other university in Ukraine, and the scientific community in Ukraine generally continue to work non-stopping. That's why I think it's not so easy to answer for this question exactly.
And ecology and energy efficiency are the essential here. It was mentioned in our previous interviews that 30% of electricity in Ukraine is spent on lighting. How exactly will Helios help us get closer to the Green Deal 2050 goals?
OLED panels, OLED devices use much less electricity than traditional bulbs or conventional LEDs, while providing the same or better illumination. This lower energy consumption directly translates into fewer carbon emissions, helping countries meet climate targets. On the other hand, this as a result, and OLED provides soft, uniform light, reducing energy waste for the overbrighting or inefficient lighting systems. And the last one is OLED does not require a special methodics of disposal.
And the project involves not just creating materials, but also investigating their photophysical properties. What kind of equipment in your department allows actually you to see what other cannot?
By this project, we do not carry out the studies in our lab. According to the terms of the project, all material studies are carried out in Kaunas University of Technology. But our researchers have the secondment to this lab and accordingly carry out the studies here. It's the photophysics, the measurement of photophysical properties, electrochemical properties, some optical properties if need to the continued preparing devices. And that's why this project have a lot of Ukraine as participant has a lot of secondments to the Kaunas University and to the Glasgow University as well.
And finally, a look into the future. Where will we see the results of your department's work in 5, maybe 10 years? Will it be new screens, medical equipment, or perhaps some smart lighting for our homes?
Our laboratory conducts both fundamental and applied research. In our university environment, we can create only experimental OLED models, but not production ones. That means we preparing this device, measuring every properties which we could measure in our lab, and the result of our research is the manuscript or its patent or another one. There is no production of OLED panels in Ukraine yet, but if there is, I am sure that we will be the first to cooperate with them.
Okay, Khrystyna, thank you for this deep yet accessible journey into the world of electronics. We now know that the heart of Helios beats to the rhythm of high technology right here in your department.
Thank you so much, Nazari, for your great and very interesting questions. And what I want to say in general that technologies are developing, and 10, 20 years ago we couldn't not have about anything about neural technologies, about ChatGPT, about AI, and today this is our reality. Therefore, I believe that we will live after few years, I don't know how many, live in the smart homes with the smart technology and of course with the smart light as well.
Okay, thanks. Friends, this was the third episode of our podcast Helios, New Light on Science. Today we learned that behind every bright scene lies the immense work of engineers. Subscribe so you don't miss our next episodes, where we continue to introduce you to the people changing the world. The podcast was hosted by Nazari Andrushak, head of the project office at Lviv Polytechnic National University. Stay tuned and we'll see you in the next episodes.
Helios, new light on science.